Karnataka police have sent a lookout circular against Shivamurthy Murugha Sharanaru to all immigration points as a precautionary measure. A lookout circular has now been issued by the Karnataka police against the Chitradurga Mutt Seer Shivamurthy Murugha Sharanaru to all immigration points as a precautionary measure. Remember that there is, of course, growing pressure on the police to act in this case. It has been at least 7 days since, of course, the case was registered against the Chitradurga Seer, where he was accused of rape by 2 minor girls. The survivors and their statements have been recorded. Their medical examination has been conducted as well. But the Seer continues to be free. He is out there, as you can see in those images, in his mutt, roaming around freely. But the police are yet to question him, and pressure is now mounting on the police and the state government of Karnataka to act in this case. Protests earlier broke out outside the Chitradurga DC's office and also in Mysuru as well. Now the Karnataka police feeling some of that heat, some action being taken, where they've now issued a lookout circular against Shivamurthy Murugha Sharanaru to all immigration points as a precautionary measure. That's the latest that's coming in right now. Remember, a group of advocates has also moved the Karnataka High Court registrar in this case because they feel that there have been several procedural lapses in this probe, and they want a court-monitored probe to be conducted in this very, very sensitive case. India Today has been pursuing this case very diligently from day one, since the FIR was registered and since the survivors decided to pursue action against the rape-accused Seer. My colleague Nabila Jamal is now joining me live from the newsroom on this. Nabila, finally some action. Karnataka police are issuing a lookout circular against the Chitradurga Seer. But you know, the irony of it is you are issuing a lookout circular presuming that he could be a flight risk, he could go absconding. So you're putting out the circular at immigration points while he's right there in his mutt roaming around freely.
You know, this is the irony, Paulamy, like you rightly said, he's right there at the mutt. He's right in the vision, within the vision of the Karnataka police, especially the Chitradurga police. They've all surrounded the mutt. They're every now and then entering, exiting the mutt, but not summoning him for questioning and not arresting him. This more or less seems like some kind of consolation, only to try and douse the protests that have erupted right outside Chitradurga's DC office, where locals in large numbers are right now sitting in Dharna saying they won't get up from the spot unless and until the Seer has been arrested. So this lookout notice is only consolation, a temporary consolation given by the Karnataka police there, but there are many other lapses which they are facing, which we are looking at in terms of the failure of the Karnataka police. They haven't summoned him for questioning, no medical test that has been done. The girls were made to go to that crime spot while the accused Seer was still at the premises. Many lapses which the NCPCR has also now taken note of. In fact, I spoke to the NCPCR chief a little earlier, and he said a notice has been issued to the Karnataka police 5 days ago. In the next 3 days, they're hoping for a report to come in. And if there are any lapses by the police, then the police officials who have failed to act can also face suspension with this regard for not acting as per law under the POCSO Act. Remember, Paulamy, this is a very, very harsh allegation. Under POCSO Act, a person will be arrested in less than 3 to 4 hours. There's no scope of delay when it comes to a POCSO case. And there is no benefit of doubt given to the criminal either, or the alleged criminal. One should be taken into custody, and only then a due process of investigation should be followed, and then should be established whether he is innocent or not. But casting aspersions on the credibility of those girls, even before the man has been arrested, even before the investigation begins, it seems like a complete failure of the entire machinery, not just within the police department, but also the government and also the opposition in the state.
Absolutely. And the conspiracy theory which is being floated by him, of course, you know, GB Patil, the Lingayat Seer, spoke with you as well. And he clearly stated that that's completely different. And why is the police getting deflected by that case? That is an entirely different matter of the mutt. And this is an entirely different, sensitive and a serious charge which is being leveled against the Seer. And the police is obliged to act against him. They're obliged to question him at the most basic of it.
Absolutely right, Paulmi. We're talking about conspiracy allegations made by the Seer, saying that people are trying to taint me. There's one other man called Basarajan who's trying to target me using these girls, etc., etc., etc. All that aside, here is a man who's been accused under POCSO Act. He is a rape accused. At the end of it, investigation should continue. Whether this is a conspiracy or not, let the police establish that. Why should there be any word of judgment given even before the investigation really begins? So this is extremely awful and shameful and tragic, to say the least, that these girls who are 15 and 16 years of age have been questioned repeatedly by the police, but this man is let out free to stay at his mutt. Not a single word the police has had with him, except for almost consolidating, or rather, the netas there trying to show up at his doorstep, showing solidarity to him and saying that he's cooperating, etc. But none of that is shown in reality. He still remains free. Those girls are still questioned by the police. Protesters are still protesting for justice. I wonder what they're really going to respond to the NCPCR when they give their final report.